nice early morning start today. We're heading up to the Hunter Valley, to a little town just outside of Maitland for another cup of Q&A story.
Yeah, we're meeting Vicki this morning. Vicki has both of her parents in an Opal care community, and they have a very, very special story. I'm really excited to hear about it.
Oh, good morning. How are you?
I'm Vicki.
Hey, Vicki. So, Vicki, thank you so much for making yourself available to have a chat for a cup of Q&As.
Welcome, Jones.
Thank you. And you've got a beautiful home.
Oh, thank you.
And I can feel already it's filled with so much story.
Yes, it has.
Yeah. So, I'd love to know a little bit about your parents.
My mum and dad are just the most wonderful people. Dad was nominated one year for Citizen of the Year because he loved helping people. He used to go down to his mother, who was at the nursing home in Regent Street, and he'd go around to all the patients there and ask if they want shopping done. He and Mum have got a beautiful love story. They were married at 18. The war intervened and Dad was away for 4 years. So how harrowing must that have been for them, not knowing if he'd ever come back. Eventually he did, 6.5 stone wringing wet.
Wow.
He was so sick. But through Mum's nurturing and good cooking, he was well again. And I thank the Lord to this day that I've got him as my dad.
I can see the good cooking runs in the family. Like there's quite a spread here. Megan brought a cake and you brought everything. It's amazing.
My pleasure.
Describe for me what acute care needs do your parents both have?
Well, Mum at the moment, she's bedridden, but I'm talking previously. She said if anyone gave her a walking stick, she wouldn't walk out of the house with it.
Right. Are they very proud?
Very proud,
Yeah.
very proud. Dad doesn't need any help whatsoever, only that he's getting a bit tottery. But this is what has upset me because now Mum's bedridden. I mean, she was dancing in the hallways at the home, danced with all the staff, and because she loved it. Yes.
It's tough. It's hard when you see your parents.
Oh,
progress,
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely, yeah. Especially, she was a vibrant person, my mum, involved with a lot of associations. Her and Dad loved church. Better than me because I don't go, but they went every Sunday. And Dad was always the tea maker. Yeah, he said, I don't know what they do up there. He said, I put the urn on the other day and there was no water, So he said, I nearly burnt the bum out of the urn. But that was his job at church, yeah. So little things. And Dad was a great storyteller. He loved telling stories and jokes. He loved them. And I always said to him, why don't you write it all down, Dad? And he never did, but he was always known for his funny little ditties and
And so before they moved into their care community, how independent was their lives together?
They did everything together. I got them home care 2 years before they went into the home. I won't say that was satisfactory because I usually had to go down and redo what they did. As long as they had a cup of tea with Mum, she always had a spread, and that's what they loved.
Like we have
Runs in the
today.
family, I can see.
And I suppose, in one way looking at it, at least it was support and comfort for her. But my dad came to me 2 years ago and he said, I think it's about time we went into a home. Well, see, they were 97 then. Yeah. And I said, Dad, anything you want, I'll do. So I rang my brother up and we went everywhere looking for a decent home for them, Newcastle, everywhere. And thank goodness we got a message from Opal. They wanted to speak to us. Yeah. And that was the result. They accepted them.
And were they able to move in together at the same time?
That's our main aim, to get them together. Yeah. Because I know, Megan, if one goes, the other one will follow. Yeah. I know, I'm prepared for that. Yeah.
So I guess this is unique because you and your parents really made that choice proactively
Oh,
to seek
definitely.
care?
But mum was obstinate.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes, yeah. I am not leaving my home. I don't care what you do. I am not leaving. John can go, but I'm not.
Okay.
And I said, Mum, and I had to sit down and I said, look, there'll be people there for you to associate with. I said, they'll take you on trips. I said, I'm nearby, so whenever you feel like it, come to me. And then she rallied around and thought. And Jace, the day we shut her front door, she has never asked me about a home or any. I'm quite surprised because that home was her castle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised that she's never ever mentioned it. 76 years they lived in
Wow.
it. 76 years they lived in
Yeah.
that home.
Lots of memories.
Beautiful memories.
So what? I guess, apart from age and aging beautifully, what sort of things started becoming difficult for them living at home?
I'm glad you said that. I sort of chastised myself because when I'd go down, which was every day, I noticed things weren't getting done. My mother was absolutely meticulous with her housework. Everything, like she dusted at 6 o'clock in the morning and things like that. And I'd say to her, Mum, where's your linen? I'm going to wash tomorrow. I want to take your sheets home. Oh, darling, don't worry about them. She said, I've already done them. So this went on for, say, a week. And I thought, no, something's wrong. And I just happened to go into her wardrobe one day and there was a pile of dirty clothes in the wardrobe. And I rang my brother up and I said, something's got to be done. I said, I'm not happy with their eating. I mean, they got meal, I'd cook and they got meals in, but I could tell that things weren't right, Jace, yeah.
So within Rutherford Park Care Community, can you describe the spaces that Mum and Dad are able to move through
Yeah,
and
certainly.
what it looks like?
It's quite big. In fact, it's enormous. There's a lovely dining room where they all join and have fun together. The music's just wonderful. I just love going and having a dance with. I get the oldies up and we have a dance. And basically, Mum and Dad walk around for their exercise. They walk right around, and it's quite big. They're allowed to go into the garden, or when she was well, they could. There's a kiosk downstairs which is accommodating. They're wonderful, and they play bingo. They go out for outings on a bus. They have dress-up days. And one of the lovely nurses, she brought in all the old paraphernalia the other day, like old kettles and and they loved it because it was their age and what they grew up with. Yeah, so there's plenty to do there.
And did you say there was a hairdresser?
There's a hairdresser.
well?
Yeah. She comes up a Monday.
Yeah. And so when you visit Mum and Dad, do you sort of stay within Rutherford Park and just use the garden and the different
I
spaces?
take Mum and Dad. I did take Mum, for a walk right around the garden and sit down with them, have a cup of tea with them. Yeah, it's quite. I've got my name down. Yeah. So I said to the staff, you're not allowed to leave, and I'll be coming.
Vicki, how have you found the team at Opal Healthcare in respect to, it's a big decision handing over that love and caring duty of your parents to someone else?
I've sat down with the nurses and I've explained that to them. I said the support that they're getting here, I said, is absolutely awesome. And I said, I just can't thank you enough. So I said, if there's any trouble, ring me day or night, and they do. I think they do above their duty, Jason. Yeah, I really do. They love Mum and Dad. And they love I'm only talking about my perspective and what I know, and I'm sure they treat everyone else, the same as they treat Mum and Dad. And Mum and Dad are always spotlessly clean. That's something that I've always, because when people get old, they have food stains and I say, I never want that because if visitors come, I don't want that. In fact, a friend that hasn't seen Mum and Dad for 10 years visited them and she told me how clean they were, and that made me happy.
Yeah.
That made me happy.
Did you expect that level of care? Like when...
I didn't expect that level of care because I've got a nursing background and I just would treat people like I'd want to be treated and that's what they're doing.
And so Mum and Dad's care, has it changed
through their time living at Rutherford Park?
Oh, yes, they're more attentive to mum now because of being bedridden.
It's that constant unknown juggle, though, isn't it? Like
I know.
you tick something and then something else appears.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's been sort of ongoing with mum because she's had several strokes since she's been in. Dad slipped when he was only in there a fortnight and broke his hip.
Oh.
And amazingly, he got over that in 6 weeks. He got over it. And he walks as good as I do now. And but mum had that dreadful fall at Christmas associated with a stroke.
How are the team there helping support your dad through this change of journey with your mum's health?
They never leave him. Whenever I go, Jason, I'd say 5, 6 will come in. How are you, John? Everything all right, John? Do you want a cup of tea? You know, it's ongoing. And the other day, Jace, I said to Dad, come down and just have a cup of coffee with me. He said, I'd love that, but he said, Mum's got to come too. So the nurses said, that's all right. So they got her in a special stretcher and we wheeled her down and he was happy then.
Yeah. But isn't it beautiful that they went out of their way to make that happen?
Yeah.
I think
I'd
that's
love to
spectacular.
take you now just to see them. I would love, because Dad would be in his armchair by her bed.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Even right now.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So your mum's 100, your dad's about to turn 100
In July.
in July. They're Australia's oldest living married couple.
in Australia.
And they've been featured on television shows. They've had a card from the King. They've had all sorts of
I was
things.
telling Megan, I was here one Monday morning, got all these telephone calls. Vicki, have you got the TV on? Oh, no, I haven't. Well, your mum's on national TV jiving with her hairdresser.
Jiving.
To blue suede shoes. And I said, Mum, and that was just around their 75th wedding anniversary, and I said, you're taking the shine off your wedding anniversary. And, of course, she just looked at me and said, well, whatever, you know. Yeah, all these phone calls, Jace, I couldn't believe it. I thought, not me, Mum.
What's she up to now? What trouble is she getting into?
That's right. And when they say to me, I've got to talk to you about your mum, I thought, oh, what's she done now?
The other thing that's important to sort of recognise too is that a lot of people are fearful that what if my loved one has a fall while they're in care? But the reality is when people get to that stage of their mobility, they're going to have falls at home
You're so right.
or anywhere.
You're so right. Well, this is what was upsetting me because I knew Mum wasn't good. Dad's okay on his feet, but Mum wasn't. She had several falls before she went into the home. And I realised that she was under care there. Like I'd have to travel 10 minutes I went every day and I thought I would find Mum either dead or badly injured. Right. And that was another thing I was worried over. But at the home, they ring me straight away. Even like Dad fell the other day and grazed all his arm and they rang me straight away to let me know. Yeah. So the care and attention's there.
So is there anything, like looking back over this journey, is there anything you would have done any differently or anything that you'd rethink?
The only thing is, Megan, I wish I had put them in a few years, you know, so that they would have that social activity. They haven't got that now, but they could have. And I explained all that to Mum too when she was obstinate and wouldn't go in. And I said, just think of all the new friends you'll meet, Mum, and all that. Oh, she said, I've got plenty of friends, you know, really, yeah. And I said, but this will be different.
Vicki, sort of looking back on this journey and having moved your parents into care, how are you? How do you feel? Has it given you some kind of space and relief yourself?
Because they're getting such wonderful care, that's helped. That's taken the weight off my shoulders a lot. So I'm just talking about my circumstances, and I've got my beautiful daughter in Melbourne that I worry over, plus all my friends, and I'm just a worrier. I can't.
You're a
help it.
matriarch.
Yeah.
You're born to worry.
I'm born to worry. Yeah.
And so to make it feel even more like a home, was Mum and Dad able to bring in their own belongings into their
Well,
space?
not a lot, Megan, but they're armchairs we've got there because when you're older, you don't want the room to be cluttered. Because in case they fall onto it, or so they've just got a little table plus their armchairs.
Yeah.
And a nice little round table. We got them, but there's not a lot. I'd rather it cleaned out because I don't want them to fall. Or I didn't want them to fall.
What about photos and things from
Yes,
home?
oh yeah, she's got she's got the message from the Queen on the they're allowed photographs and they've got all that. Yeah. And Mum puts everything into her bag. Or she did. You know, if I had a frame with a photo in it, it'd be in her bag. And all things. And biscuits in her bag.
Is that her safety blanket, the bag, her handbag? Is that like the...
Well,
goes
see, this
everywhere?
is what she's used to. Wouldn't go to town without her handbag and gloves and the lot.
right.
So, so everything that I was looking for was in Mum's bag. Dad's hearing aids and you name it was in the bag. Yeah.
Well, at least you didn't have to go far. It was all
That's right.
in the handbag.
Vicki, it sounds like, obviously there's a lot of love in your family, there's a lot of love between your parents, and I think you're a beautiful example, a shining example of what they've created. Thank you for sharing your story with us today.
I just loved it. Thank you. Something dear to my heart, Jason.